How to make a tragedy into a comedy.
Also, how to make something very difficult to understand, understandable.
Right here. Big Short movie review.
Probably the deepest insight into the world of the stock and housing market. This film shows the build-up of the big financial crash that happened in 2008 from the realization from Christian Bale's character back in 2005. It further shows how he, along with several other characters in the film, actually see this coming and then decide to make big investments to make huge gains based on this tragic downfall.
And ultimately bet against America.
Yeah, exactly that.
Until we both saw Room, this movie probably had the best acting we had seen to date. The main cast of Christian Bale, Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, Brad Pitt to a degree, they all turn in solid.
Yeah, I would have liked to see more from Brad, to be honest. But
his character was important, but on the sides. But they all turn in solid performances. But as you pointed out, it went just beyond that. And for once, or should I say for the first time in a long time, we actually had a less famous supporting cast who were solid.
Solid.
Especially Steve Carell's entourage, who were trying to decide whether or not they were going to buy into the prediction that the markets were going to crash. The acting in this movie is perfection, unless you've seen Room.
Yeah.
Now, not to say that we're both dumb, but we're no financial experts. And when the Wall Street crash happened in 2008, though it was a shock, we weren't entirely, and probably still aren't entirely sure, quite how it came about. It was shady. But what this film does that is so damn clever is that it completely lifts the lid on all of that, and it makes it accessible for people who, while you need to have a brain, Exhibit A, do not necessarily understand the full degree of what went on. And it makes it understandable. And it does this by doing things like tangent scenes with famous people like Margot Robbie in a bubble bath. Hey.
Best scene of the film.
Anyway, or doing things like using references to Jenga to show how the housing markets will collapse, or how gambling can affect one person betting on the market and the other, and breaking the fourth wall, a bit a la incoming Deadpool movie. But it does break the fourth wall and really bring you in. It's like, okay, so we're not calling you stupid, but we know that this is complicated. So here's Margot Robbie in a bubble bath to explain it.
Yeah, and
stuff like that.
It is, and that breaking of the fourth wall is very handy.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
The downfall of the movie, coming back to what Nick said, is that as much as it does simplify it, it is still kind of difficult to pay attention to, you know. You do have to give maximum focus, and not just that, at points it does feel like it drags a bit. We're going from 2005 to 2008, you do kind of feel the 3 hours while sitting in the cinema.
Yeah. Ultimately, the two main stars who actually help make this a bit easier are definitely Ryan Gosling, whose duty is that of narrator, as well as being a key point in the plot, and Steve Carell, who plays a very erratic investor who you think is just going to bring the comedy yucks, but he does it in a very, very serious way.
It's believable. It's not like, oh, he's the comedian. No, it's not that Steve Carell. It's
not from The
tone.
Office.
You know it's someone you could actually meet in real life. Nothing exaggerated at all.
That's not to take anything away from Christian Bale. Ultimately, his character is possibly the most important. Though his role is a lot less animated than that of Steve Carell and a lot less involving than that of Ryan Gosling, he's ultimately the coldest of the characters. He makes the grand discovery that the markets are going to crash, and he's a complete social recluse, and that ultimately is what people don't believe in him. But his performance, though less animated than he would be in other films, brilliant as always.
But what I will give him credit for is the fact that this is based on a true story, so you can really believe that that is what the character was like.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did focus with him, but the character is believable. You will believe there are people out there like that.
For sure.
No, for sure.
The movie's pace is really, really frantic. You know, despite the fact that it goes seemingly from one meeting room to another, the characters interlink with each other brilliantly. They're all dealing with their personal demons, and they're all dealing with the main theme of this movie, which is greed. And the only one who seems to be the voice of reason ultimately is the person who we mentioned earlier in Brad Pitt, who's the only one who makes everyone snap up and say, hey, yeah, you're gonna make a lot of money, but you're betting against America here.
Yeah.
You're winning, we all lose. And Adam McKay, the director, has shot this movie in a perfect combination of seriousness and dark comedy, perfectly exemplified in each of the characters.
No, most definitely. Have to agree with that. Overall, my personal opinion on The Big Short, it is definitely a movie to see. What is somewhat of a downfall, don't get me wrong, it's worth watching twice, but you need to watch it twice, if not more, just to get a full grasp of what is really going on. You can't... Unless you're in the financial market, you're not going to get it straight away. You do need to see it several times. The performances are second to none. The way they approach the situation is unique and innovative. And for that, I will give this film a 7 out of 10.
All right, well, I am feeling a bit more generous than you, which is strange, because normally I give low scores, but for real reasons being, I went into this movie with an attitude of, oh, it's one I kind of have to see because it's an Oscar-nominated movie. It wasn't subject matter that particularly interested me, but somehow it drew me in. The Ryan Gosling, who you know I'm not the biggest fan of, loved it. All the other actors who I am a fan of delivered as I expected them to deliver. The movie made subject matter which I personally find quite difficult. Call me a dumbass if you want, but I found it
Two of us,
right? I found it very, very accessible. I found it intelligent. I found it funny, and I found it above everything. I mean, I left with the wind knocked out of me. Jesus Christ, how can people be that stupid? I mean, not to say that I'm smart, but how can people be that stupid?
It's not even stupidity, it's that greedy, I would say.
It's just the greed is horrible. And the fact that this was shown, and it's refreshing to see a dark comedy, and to have that type of subject matter displayed in this way with such fine performances and such a visionary, and I do think it's quite visionary the way Adam McKay directed, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give The Big Short an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
So what did you guys think? Have you seen The Big Short? Did you like it? Who do you think's going to win the Oscar, if anyone, from the lineup of actors in this movie? Do you agree with our ratings, 7 and 8? Who do you think's right? Who do you think's wrong? If there is a right and wrong, leave your thoughts and your comments below. From the Silver Screen Dudes, see ya!